Well, it's that time of the week again, the moment that we all look forward to from the OLA of Vegas, Kirk Light.
That's right.
Kirk,
That's right. The outdoor living area is what we've got here. It's kind of a cool day now that fall is underway here in the northern hemisphere. It's only about 40 today. So a bit chilly, almost too cool for the pool at 40 degrees. Oh my gosh, Mike, it's just almost scary. It's not almost. It is scary what is going on. The most challenging, the most dangerous time for America, certainly for my lifetime. And of course, who needed the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg? What an American tragedy. What a life, though, she led. Absolutely amazing. Will be the first woman to lie in state at the Capitol. So that, of course, means a vacancy on the Supreme Court. And let me read a quote from our very special guest that we've got here. This is from 2016. This is the direct quote. The American people should have a voice in the selection of their next Supreme Court justice. Therefore, this vacancy should not be filled until we have a new president. Now, that, of course, from Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. And what I've got here for you, Mike, this is very exciting. I have the true essence of Senator McConnell. And I think, oh my gosh, he's looking even better than normal. This is his true soul of Senator McConnell. I don't know if you can see him here. Let's bring him on. This is the Majority Leader of the U.S. Senate. It's Mitch McConnell. Say hi, everybody. Say
I
hi,
could,
Mitch.
I truly, I thought,
Hi, Mitch.
I thought that
Hi,
might,
great to
no, I thought that
see
maybe,
him, Mitch.
no,
That's
no,
his spirit.
no, I
That's his
thought it
soul
might, no,
right
no,
there.
Kirk,
There you
it
go.
looks like,
That's Mitch McConnell.
now it looks like your
Mitch McConnell.
possible future president, Pelosi.
Well, she is third in line to the presidency, and I think she looks better than certainly Mitch McConnell. There, some people could argue that was Lindsey Graham. I think they kind of have the same essence that we've got going on there. And of course, Trump trying to say it's political hackery, what Ruth Bader Ginsburg told her granddaughter just days before her death. My most fervent wish is that I not be replaced until a new president is installed. Clearly, that's not going to happen. We thought maybe we had Senator Murkowski from Alaska, even Senator Collins, who always is so distressed. She's in a vicious race for a Senate seat in Maine. They came out and they said they'd say no until after the election. But it's 53 votes they have in the Senate. So they really need to lose two more because a tie goes to the vice president. We thought Mitt Romney may come in there and do the decent thing. After all, this is a man who voted to convict Trump during the impeachment. So the man, according to him, he voted to impeach him. Trump is a criminal, according to Mitt Romney. But of course, if it suits his political needs, go ahead and support appointing a Supreme Court justice, who right now it looks like it's going to be this Amy Barrett woman, who we still don't know for sure, but I've printed out some stuff on her. She basically feels that we don't have the separation of church and state in the United States. We have a separation of the state from the church to let them basically do whatever they want. She sounds like someone that'd be completely cool with a theocracy here in the United States. So against LGBT rights, against pro-choice rights. So this is going to put a 6-3 conservative majority on the court. And you may ask, Mike, what can the Democrats do about it?
What can the Democrats do about it?
Well, right now, not a whole lot, unfortunately.
Oh,
But
that's sad.
there's a big but here. It's by big letters, B-U-T, big but that we've got going on there. And right now, I was just taking minutes ago a look at a new article in The Economist, which gives the Democrats a 2/3 chance of taking control of the Senate. If they do, I think it's a foregone conclusion that the filibuster is out of here. That means all legislation can get approved with a majority vote, as has been the case now with judicial appointments. But what they can also do, if the Democrats hold the House, which is virtually a certainty, Joe Biden wins. But of course, we just had minutes ago, before we're recording this, we had Trump saying, oh, the ballots, they're a mess. There is no way. The Atlantic, I was just reading an article today from The Atlantic saying one certainty of this election is there's no way that Trump is going to concede. And I was just taking a look at Quinnipiac poll that just came out today. And what's fascinating with this poll is of Trump supporters, 57%, 47% of the people still say they're going to vote on election day. And of that 47%, 57% are Trump supporters, 35% are Biden supporters. So it is conceivable Trump could have the lead on the night of November 3rd. But is that going to change? You bet it is. Is Trump going to accept that change? You know he won't, because looking at the other numbers here, vote at early voting locations, which is what I'm going to do. They open for early voting here in Nevada on Saturday the 17th. I'll be there to vote that first day. Early voting, 15% of the electorate, and that is going to be 65% for Biden, 34% for Trump. And here's what's really key: the vote by mail. And Trump is making all these specious arguments that foreign governments could flood the mail with fake ballots. Really? But the problem is many people believe that. And so folks that vote early by mail or absentee ballot, we have 34%. So basically a third of the electorate, 68% for Biden versus only 26% for Trump. And some other fascinating results from this Quinnipiac poll, which I find very interesting often, is a favorability rating as far as approval or lack of approval, favorable versus unfavorable. Biden, it's 45 to 45. 45% approve of him, 45% find him unfavorable. However, Donald Trump, 41% approve, favorable, 55% unfavorable for a minus 14. And overall, his handling of the job as president, approved 43, disapprove 53. So basically, Mike, what you've got is you have all this cataclysm that we've had during the entire year. You've had a year like no other here in the United States, and yet have the poll numbers moved? Not much. It's all going to be down to the Senate. And this is an extremely long way to get back to the answer of what can the Democrats do. First, taking control of the Senate is absolutely mandatory. So if they've got really three choices, they can live with it, it's going to be tough to do. But if you have the House, which they will, Nancy Pelosi, third in line, if this is not resolved, the election on January 20th at noon in the Constitution, that's when Trump terms end. If the new president has not been established, Nancy Pelosi does become the temporary president. So the Democrats have the House.
It's very scary, though, isn't it? Very scary.
Well, it'll only be a temporary situation there. And
like Joe Biden, he's temporary. He'll be temporary too.
Well, he's probably just one term, but you never
probably
know.
1 month.
No, but Kamala Harris.
Kamala
Harris. It's with like a comma. Kamala Harris, fine with me. With me. She's an amazing woman. But what could happen here? Okay, basically they could try to work around it through legislative means if you've got control of the House, the Senate, and the White House. Or third, and I'm fascinated by this. I am extremely intrigued by this because about 85 years ago in the late 1930s, Franklin Roosevelt wanted to expand the Supreme Court because they kept knocking down a lot of his New Deal proposals, rather. And by expanding the court, they could get through. Back in those days, things like the NRA had a totally different meaning. That was the National Recovery Administration. And they got a lot of things done. We still have a lot of public works buildings that were constructed and built during that Depression era. So the talk is that the Supreme Court could be expanded from the 9 justices. Nowhere in the Constitution does it state where the Supreme Court, the number of justices, and it has been augmented a number of times throughout our history. So there's talk that it should be augmented at least to 11, perhaps even to 13. And I think there's no reason that shouldn't happen, especially when you have people like our special guest, Mitch McConnell, here, and Lindsey Graham, who said,
Pelosi.
No way. No way. No, Pelosi had nothing.
No, she
no
does
way.
same hairstyle. Lipstick looks exactly the same.
No way. No way would they consider a Supreme Court justice so close to the election, but here they are doing it. So what's fascinating is here we've got people that are really hurting. The food bank lines, as we've talked about, really long. Many people having problems with their unemployment. Here in Las Vegas, some of the highest unemployment, if not the highest unemployment in the country, and yet they do nothing about another stimulus bill to help us here out in places like Las Vegas. And yet, when it comes to appeasing the evangelicals, the Trump base, then they just can go rush and put this nomination through. It's going to be fascinating to see the repercussions of how this all plays out. It is going to be, I mean, it's going to be tough to sleep. All I can tell you, Mike, is that I am glad I live in a state like Nevada where just to ease my stress, I was able to get my we have recreational marijuana legal here in Nevada, but I was able to get my medical marijuana card approved so I can get much higher doses at lower prices and be able to make it through.
Just in wrapping this up, I mean, over the last few weeks, the level of stress has been rising. Do you have that? Do you have that in the corner? That dark, scary monster? Do you feel that getting bigger? That you think Donald might win?
I don't think he's going to win. I think there's no way in the world that he's going to get a majority of the votes. Does that mean he's going to leave power? That is a totally different question. We're in a cold civil war right now in the United States. I think there's very limited doubt about that. Will there be a shooting civil war? I think there are going to be deaths. I think between the election and the inauguration, people will die. There will be political deaths in the United States. Will that be enough to cause a civil war? Who knows? Will there be just one or two or three? Let's hope. Or maybe zero. Maybe I'm completely wrong. It's just all hyperbole that I'm spouting out. But let me tell you, we're not taking any chances. I cannot believe trail mix. You didn't know what trail mix was. It's an American thing where you have like dried fruit. We must have 20 pounds of trail mix. We have gallons and gallons of water. We have all kinds of semi-non-perishable food like raisins and prunes, dried cherries.
I'm very impressed though, because not only will you possibly survive the Armageddon of the fanatics either side, you'll actually have regularity. I mean, because there's plenty of fiber in that, and that's
a lot of fiber in the prunes.
That's good to hear. Now,
what I'm trying to do is prepare for 30 days with no food, no power, no water, no anything, because just basically I think we're as safe as any place in an urban neighborhood here. But who would have guessed, even a year ago, even 2 years ago, with Democrats in control of Congress, who would have ever guessed that such thinking would need to take place in the United States, maybe in Belarus, maybe in the Ukraine, maybe in Kazakhstan,
or in South Australia, because they have no power. They haven't got much at all. I mean, they rely on batteries from Elon Musk and windmills.
I can't comment on that.
And then what happens is when the battery runs out after 30 minutes and there's no wind, they actually have to borrow it from other states who have stuff called coal. So anyway, that's another.
You know what? It's been a long time since I've been on a station in South Australia. I think that was 5SE.
Yes.
Way back when with you.
That's right. That's right.
What was that, in the early 1950s?
1850s. That was when we used to pedal the bike for power. Now, one more thing.
Sure,
Scenario here. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a minor civil war. You have people that have AKGs, they have handguns, security firms are ramping that up. And then Kirk has his bug spray. I mean, do you think though maybe you should get something a little more powerful than fly spray?
I certainly thought of that, but to be even competent, armaments, it's thousands of dollars. And the armaments make me nervous. When I was a young man in the 80s, I bought a .357 Magnum because it was the thing to do when you're working in North Florida. And you were there. You came to Panama City.
That's right. How could I forget?
Oh my God!
Pineapple Willies.
So I think they're still in business, amazingly.
Another story.
La Vila and Schooners.
Schooners is still there. Schooners is still there.
Absolutely. But anyway, so the thing was, and I can understand the power. I mean, it's easy when you get that in your hand and you feel that power. It's easy to understand the appeal, but the danger, especially with someone, and if you've watched this whole thing, you know I'm often not the calmest person out there.
No.
So I just felt the danger of having it was not worth the value of having it. So since that time, I have never owned a firearm, and this bug spray can shoot 30 feet, and I won't kill anybody. Hopefully, we'll keep them from attacking, but won't kill anybody, and hopefully, we won't have to use it. We can just use it on a wasp nest next year after Joe Biden is president of the United States.
Now, we must wrap it up. We must say goodbye, but we need to say goodbye to Nancy too.
It's Mitch. It's Mitch and
No,
Lindsey.
it looks like
Lindsey
Nancy.
Graham.
No, it's the
Lindsey
same.
Graham.
No,
Lindsey.
it's her hair.
Mitch says
It's her
hi.
lipstick. I can see it.
Hi.
It's the look.
Hi,
in,
Mitch.
it's the look in the eyes.
Clown. He's a clown.
It's
Come
no,
on,
no,
we
no,
gotta have-
Nancy.
come on
Look at the
up,
lipstick.
Here,
Look
we'll
at the
have-
eyes. Look at the stare.
Genevieve, come on up. Come on.
Kirk Clyde.
Oh, she went
and
to the groomers.
Kirk
Since
Clyde
we were here
and
last.
Nancy or Mitch. Thank you very much.
And since she went to the groomers since we were here last. Look.